Kazakhstan, it's at the heart of Central Asia, rich in mineral resources and economic potential. It's also closely watching the developments on the US-Afghan security deal in Kabul, which could impact on regional security. Well, in a moment, Kazakhstan's foreign minister joins me here in the studio. First, though, let's take a closer look at the country. It's nestled between mighty neighbours, Russia and China, and is nearby Afghanistan. It declared independence in 1991 after the fall of the Soviet Union. Kazakhstan is a country of a relatively small 16.4 million people, but look at it, huge geographically. President Nursultan Nazarbayev has remained relatively unchallenged since the country's creation. One key question is going to be who will succeed him, with some expecting the president to start to groom a successor this term. But this is a country that is rich in resources, with an abundance of oil, uranium and other minerals. With major foreign investment, economic growth has averaged 8% since 2000, very healthy 8%. Well, with me is the Foreign Minister of Kazakhstan, Erlan Idrissov. Thank you very much for being with us. Do you have concerns for your country, for the entire Central Asian region, after foreign troops withdraw from Afghanistan?
We don't have over-pessimistic scenarios for a post-2014 situation. Of course, we understand that Afghanistan is a place which poses lots of challenges and risks. We believe that what the international coalition was doing so far and what it promises to do after 2014 is the right way to take. Kazakhstan believes that there are lots of opportunities to check the situation under control. First of all, opportunities should be given to the Afghani people themselves, and the international coalition and regional countries should play a very positive role in terms of creating a very conducive environment for positive change inside Afghanistan by the Afghans themselves.
How worried are you about homegrown extremism at the moment? Kazakh fighters going to Syria, for instance, to fight with the jihadists.
This is, frankly speaking, a cultural shock for our nation, because Kazakhstan was considered to be almost immune from this type of things. But the world is changing, and we are part of those very disturbing changes. Of course, we are very much worried about this situation, and we try to understand how we should tackle this situation.
So what's being done, actually, to try and tackle radical Islam militancy in your country?
First of all, persistent economic growth, focus on education, giving more opportunities to growing younger generation.
Are you worried at all about the incredible influence now of China?
No, China is a great neighbor of Kazakhstan. We like that they grow. We believe that this growth can have positive influence on us too. Do
you find, though, you've only been a country since 1992, effectively, that it is difficult to foster your own identity when you've got China on the one side and Russia on the other?
Well, let me take you back to ancient history. We are a great ancient nation. We are ancient nomads. Therefore, we have a fantastic, glorious history. Therefore, we are very confident about our future.
So the spread of Chinese influence is not something that worries you at all?
No, we want to adjust our own growth in such a pattern that it matches with the plans for growth in China, and we both benefit from this growth.
So many resources in your country, it's rich in it. Who do you tend to favour, do you think, or who will you favour when it comes to energy deals? Russia, China or the West?
First of all, Kazakhs.
And
then the
second
rest.
of all?
And then the rest.
And then the rest in any kind of order?
On a fair basis. On a fair basis.
What about the Russians right now? Are you worried that they're trying to sort of swamp the Kazakh economy in any kind of way? You know, that President Putin is once again trying to establish some kind of regional dominance?
No, Russians are our millennial-long neighbors and friends. We don't have any fears about swallowing or swamping. We do the same pattern of our policy with Russians as to make our own individual growth is complementary to each other.
Okay, let's talk about the president, Nazarbayev. He's been in power for a long time now. Is he planning to groom someone else to be his successor? Who else is in the running?
Yes, he is doing this for the last 20 years. He started to do this when he announced a state scholarship to send best Kazakh students to the best universities abroad. Therefore, the answer to your succession question is that he has started to do this the first day he entered the office.
And when
in grooming the young generation, better educated, differently cultured and future-oriented.
And does he have a date for when he intends to step down?
You have a nice saying, we propose, but there is something who disposes.
Okay. Let's talk about human rights for a bit, because back in 2010, the government told the United Nations that it would not rest until all vestiges of torture have been fully and totally eliminated. And yet we've had a key report from Amnesty, the UN as well, saying security forces are still acting with impunity. Detention centres are rife with torture and terrible conditions. Were these empty words from the government?
Let me politely disagree with the report of Amnesty. There are formal reports by the UN bodies, and these reports go contrary to what Amnesty is claiming.
What about, though, allowing an independent and international investigation, particularly into what went on in Zhanaozen in December 2011, when people were killed and injured during riots?
We were and are extremely open with regard to the Zhanaozen situation and other situations. Our penitentiary system is open for review and cooperation with external partners.
But which external partners? Because Navi Pillay has...
UN.
Well, she would like an independent investigation.
There was an independent panel who also visited our penitentiary facilities, and they
From
made...
where?
International. It's an international NGO which looks into these issues. I unfortunately forgot the name, but they visited Kazakhstan, I think, about 3 years ago.
The UN wasn't involved in that investigation?
No, UN was involved. There was a special rapporteur by UN. I think his name was Mr. Novak, and he made a number of reporting, and the situation is not ideal, but it is definitely improving.
So what else are you doing then, particularly when we talk about something like killings in detention centres?
No, the killings are unfortunate. This is another shock. This was the first and only situation of that violence in Kazakhstan. We have serious doubts that this was instigated by third groups. This is being deplored deeply by the entire society and the government. The government immediately reacted in a number of serious steps to rectify the situation and meet the needs of the local population and the workers who were at strike.
Okay. Erlan, Idrissov, thank you very much for joining us.
My great pleasure. My great pleasure.